Okay, so today's topic is social housing, but we're doing part 2 of the video. So last time we spoke about the social housing hierarchy, and I discussed what it's like to be the main contractor at the top, and then also just council contracts and sort of coding systems that they use, pricing systems and tendering for the contracts. So anyways, part 2, this is going to be a good one. I'm going to mention some prices because I know you all are eager to hear how much do these housing associations get for carrying out all these works. Stay tuned in and you'll get to find out. So firstly, I'm going to go over what it's like being a social housing electrician, what is expected of you when you are a social housing electrician. I also want to discuss the average wage. I'm also going to use a real life example of my last social housing job and the kind of money I was earning. And then yeah, we're going to get sugar, need to drop my laptop. And then yeah, we're gonna get all into the prices. I told you I've got all the spreadsheets. Just a little disclaimer, so your local housing association and council normally will follow through with the Freedom of Information Act, which means that you can just reach out and request for them to give you the spreadsheet that I've got. If you're brave enough, go for it. If not, a little Google search, you'll find it. That's where I found mine. So anyways, like I said, last time we used Lambeth Council as an example, and today we're gonna be going through with Lambeth Council as well, and a few other councils and housing associations whose price list I've been able to find. So I've got the Lambeth price list in front of me now. They're actually using some kind of Morrison's SX3 price. So it's very, very similar to the schedule of rates I spoke about last time, but a little bit different. So I've not worked with this coding system before, so I don't actually know the codes, but as I can see from the descriptions, it's basically the same thing, same prices, just a different numerical number next to it. So cool, let's dive right in. Okay, so social housing hierarchy, you've got the councils and housing associations at the top, then you've got the big contractors such as Mears and Waits, and then you've got Mears and Waits, that was, if you didn't hear it, but I feel like I've said it so many times, you know, they might as well sponsor me. Yeah, and then further down you have the contractors and smaller subcontractors. So these are the guys that will secure the contract with the bigger contractors, but once they do secure the contract, they will be technically working for the council. So they will receive the high-vises, the ID badges, all the bits and bobs that come with it. However, the thing is, they are a smaller company, so they will be receiving smaller money, and obviously people like Mears and Waits will be keeping their little cut and percentage for hosting and sharing the contract. So for the social housing stuff, the work is mainly very easy, especially if you're starting out, or you are an apprentice, or you've just qualified and, you know, you're going out on your own. Doing social housing is very good. That's how I done it. Not a lot is expected of you. The standard of work they expect from you is not the top stuff. You're not going to be working with pretty LED strips and whatnot. You are literally just going to be coming in, changing stuff like for like, pendant for pendant, socket for socket. You're not going to be installing metal sockets with pretty little face plates and so forth and so forth. It's just going to be the standard stuff, day in, day out. So it's very good for getting practice and getting hang of, just getting hang of handling clients. But obviously they're not going to be clients that are paying, so that's going to be a lot easier as well. So you're going to be talking to people, discussing the job, logging off the job, finding out how much materials are, and doing all these small things. But it's very easy because there's not a lot of pressure, and like I said, it's a very easy, simple jobs like making safe and so forth and so forth. You're not really going to be expected to do big rewires. Unless that is a contract that your the company you're employed with has. but most of the times it's just going to be simple stuff. So obviously the other advantage is that it is quite adventurous. So you do have the routine, however, it is still quite adventurous. So regardless of you doing the same thing day in, day out, you do have the crazy scenarios, entertaining scenarios that you will come across, where you will meet different kinds of people, see different kinds of things, find mice in fuse boxes, and just all these weird, crazy things that, you know, will spice up your day, even though it is going to be the same thing day in and day out. Also, you get to interact with people. Again, this is very perspective based. Me as a people person, absolutely love it. This is the main reason why I love this job, because you get to interact with so many people. You get to interact with the tenant. So sometimes you might want to give them a call, let them know you're running late, or you've got to pick up the materials. When you get to the job, you've got to speak to them. I love that part. Some people don't like it. Again, it's all about perspective. You get to interact with the managers, the colleagues, wholesalers, just so many interactions going on around you all the time, which I love. Obviously, you do also have the voids option where you work in empty properties. I personally don't like that. Most of the guys I work with, or girls, whatever, they actually prefer the voids. I prefer the tenanted jobs. And then obviously when you are directly employed as well, another benefit is that you do get a lot of the standard employee benefits, such as van, petrol covered, they cover your van insurance, and sometimes you get random little perks like discounts at, I don't know, Starbucks like once a month, or whatever else your company might be offering. So the disadvantages is there is a lot of messy, mouldy, dirty work, dirty places involved, especially the intake cupboards. And there is also a lot of homes where you will have tenants who do have, issues in terms of maintaining the property and upkeeping, in terms of clutter. Maybe there has been like mold issues that they haven't reported because they might not see it, or they might not be able to report it for whatever other reasons. I don't really want to get into the social worker aspect of it, but as an electrician, you will come in and there will be a lot of crazy houses and crazy conditions. I have been to houses where the lady's complaining because, she can smell funky smell coming from a cupboard, and opened it up and there's mushrooms growing in there. And I kind of said to, honey, I think it's the mushrooms. She got embarrassed. She was like, oh, I didn't see those, but you've got mushrooms growing in your cupboard. So these are the kind of things you might be expected to see. And communal intakes, oh my god, I don't know why, but people love using them as toilets. I don't know how, why, where they get the keys from, but people love using communal intakes as toilets. Absolutely disgusting, and you will be expected to work in a lot of those. However, I found over the years, you just report it to your manager as a health and safety hazard. So just give them a call, tell them, listen, health and safety hazard, I'm not working in that, need a clean up team. And then they will send a specialist team who will just clean up the intake before you work in there. And again, disadvantage, because it's all about perspective, easy jobs. So most jobs are so easy that after a while you will feel like there's no opportunity to grow your skills. After a year of doing sockets, pendants, lights, you will just kind of feel like, I want to do a fuse box, but there won't really be any fuse box changes for you to do, because most of them will be given to the guys on price or keep it in-house. So you will feel like you want to do something different or more advanced, but you might not have the opportunity to. So that's a disadvantage. Again, routine, day in and out, you're doing the same thing. You might love it, you might hate it. For me, I think that's a disadvantage. I hate doing the same thing day in, day out. Again, perspective based, interactive with people, you will meet with a lot of people. That could be a disadvantage for you. And the wages are normally very low compared to electricians who do go out on their own or work in higher end electrics and on-site work. So yeah, compared to that, the wages are quite low. The fact that materials they use are obviously very, very cheap, and they're not very aesthetically pleasing. So the company that you will work for will normally tell you which materials to buy or which brand they prefer, because they will have had a deal set up with the local wholesaler on a good price, and so forth and so forth. So you won't have a choice to pick a nice pretty light fitting, or one that you think is easier to install, which is very annoying, because some of the light fittings that my old company wanted me to get were the worst, ugliest, hardest things to install, but they wanted us to do those to save £2 per fitting. And the amount of stress it used to cause me having to fit one of those in, that literally sometimes I'll just be like, you know what, I'll just use one of my nicer light fittings just to get the job done easier. Or sometimes you'll just be embarrassed to pull out. Like, look at this cheap, ugly light fitting that they expect you to use. I don't like it. I would not install it in my own house. And imagine having to install it in other people's house who don't have a choice. And actually, let me have a look at the price for this light fitting. What the price is for that. Bear with me just a second. So bear with me just a second. Oh, okay, so let me type in bulkhead. Okay, luminaire bulkhead, 28 watt, 16 watt. There you go. Light fitting, Renew, 28 watt. Okay, so I'm gonna mention a little price. So as I mentioned before in my part 1 video, if you haven't watched it, I'd advise you to go back and watch it. SOR code, you got the base price of £54 for a 28 watt bulkhead type, but bear in mind the council contract will expect you to give a discount. So let's say I think Lambeth expect a 30% discount. So if I do, that's actually really good. That's really good. So if I do £54 minus 30%, so let's say that means the Lambeth will pay me, as whoever's got the contract, £37 to change the light fitting. That is a really good price. But let me go for an average of 35%. So if I minus 35% from £54, so you're basically having £35. So you're getting paid £35 to install this very ugly light fitting. Bear in mind the light fitting itself is about £18 plus VAT, so that's like 20 something pounds. So you basically, they will be getting paid like £15 for labour for you to install that, which when you think about it, £15 an hour, kind of okay, but do you know what I mean? I'll let you put those two together. So anyways, cool, we're gonna move on now to the average wage of a housing electrician in the UK. So an average wage, this is after I've done a little bit of research, you know, having a look at the jobs online. Average wage I've worked out is about £30,000 per year. So if you divide about 12 months, you're getting about £2.5 per month, £625 per week, £125 a day, £13 an hour. So obviously if you're adding 1 hour traveling to work, 1 hour traveling back, that's 11 hours a day. So basically if you're dividing that wage, £125 per day, by the 11 hours, you're basically getting £11.36 per hour. Boy, do you know what I mean? It just says mug here if you're living in London. If you're living out there somewhere where it's like the rent's like £600 a month, fine. If you're living in London and your rent is £1,200 plus council tax, plus your bills, plus your travel, if you're literally looking at mug on your forehead at these wages. Personal opinions, right? So yeah, after all your PAYE and deductions, you're literally looking at about £2,000 a month on that. And then obviously that's being employed. You do also have the option to be on construction industry scheme, which is basically like a self-employed electrician, and they actually get a little bit more because they're not getting the company benefits. Most of the times they don't get the van, they don't get the petrol covered. So average kind of day rate for a self-employed social housing electrician is about £150, £200 if you've been in it for a very long time and you can negotiate it with the big boys, but normally £150 a day. Obviously construction industry scheme, you're paying 20% tax straight up, so you're looking at about £120 a day after your tax has been taken off, and you will be expected to do about 10 small jobs a day to receive that wage. Basically the kind of expectations as well that they want you to have as a social housing electrician I think it's quite high. So normally they want you to have good standards, customer focus, you know, good vocal skills, good English, you know, they want you to be good at being part of a team. They want you to have your test and inspecting, your 18th edition, your level 2, your level 3. A lot of contracts want you to have your AM2. Then when you had to have all these things, and like I said, some of them do want you to have your own van, as well as parking tickets. They will normally cover your parking, but not your parking tickets. So if you park on an estate and your parking runs out and you get a parking ticket, they will cover your parking, but they will not cover the ticket. So yeah, that's that in terms of the benefits, the disadvantages, the advantages, and the kind of like outline of what is expected of a social housing electrician. So this is the exciting part that I've been waiting for. I wanted to share the actual SOR codes and some of the prices for the jobs that we discussed. So just in that little video, I'll kind of improvised and thrown in the price for changing a bulkhead light. So basically you're expected to do it at about £35, including the materials and labour. So I think we should start with let's say a little pull cord switch. So if you are one of the guys at the top, Mears or Waits, you are looking at getting, so looking at Lambeth's prices, we're just going to assume that whoever receives the contract is working at the 30% discount from the schedule of rates codes. So if the base price for renewing I'm losing my voice, let me have another sip of that terrible tea. Go into my man mode with my deep voice for the last part of the video. I'm joking. Hello, testing. Okay, that will do. So if we are looking at Lambeth, for example, we can see that they offer the person that gets a contract, the company that gets a contract, they offer them a 30% discount of the base price. So the base price for a pull cord switch is £16.59. So let's say £16.59 divided by, do I not know my maths? I mean, take away 30%. So they're basically looking at whoever receives the contract will be receiving £11.06 for changing a pull cord, bathroom pull cord. So let's say now, for example, Mears, because they were the last ones that won the contract, let's say Mears now receive £11.06 to change the pull cord, and whoever receives a contract from Mears is probably working at a 40% discount because Mears will keep 10%. So then that would be £16.59 minus 40%. So you're looking at, yeah, about £9.50 to change a pull cord switch. So that's the guys in the middle, the subcontractors or the smaller contractors. So I guess the guys at the bottom would be probably looking at about £7 to change a pull cord, and that will include the materials, labour and cleaning up. So let me read the description that the schedule of rates has. I went into what the schedule of rates is deeper in my last video, so again, go watch that if you haven't watched it. But I'm just going to read the description of what you are expected to do, all included in that price. So you are expected to isolate the supply, disconnect it, clear away, renew the 5 amp one-way or two-way single pole surface pattern molded plastic ceiling pull switch with matching break joint ring, and make all necessary connections to the existing cables, reconnect the electricity supply. You have to undertake electrical tests and make good on completion, and remove waste and debris. So yeah, all of that, and at the end of it, if you're at the bottom, you're going to get £7. Awesome, right? Minus £3.50 for your little material, unless you can get the £2 ones from another screw fix. You're looking at about a £5 profit. Well, profit, £5 for your labour, for going there and doing all of that. So yeah, the other thing is, big dispute is minor works. Obviously they're asking you to undertake electrical tests because you do need to provide a minor works. for changing that like for like. However, come on, like, you want me to fill in paperwork for that much? I don't know. And in the description it asks you to undertake the electrical tests, but they don't ask you to provide a certification. So that is a big dispute that's going on between the contractors and subcontractors and councils at the moment. Does that code include the actual certification, or does it just include you testing it and making sure that it's okay? Because imagine having to do 10 minor works a day. That is crazy. So yeah, moving on. The other thing is smoke alarms. So installing a mains smoke alarm, base price is £80. So let's do £80 minus 40%. So the smaller subcontractors at the bottom would be receiving about £48 for changing a smoke alarm. And that change of smoke alarm would expect you to isolate, supply and install mains operated optical smoke detector with a rechargeable battery, hush button, all of this, you know, it's got to be certified, so you can't just buy some random cheap smoke alarms from somewhere. And then yeah, you've got to make necessary connections to supply, reconnect, test, make good, and remove waste and clean up after yourself. All of that for how much did we say we're getting? £48. The alarms that the council prefer you to use are the ICO 3000 series. Again, they are quite expensive, so if you are purchasing those and listening to the council and their requirements, you are looking at about, I think it's like £30 for those alarms. I think it's like £40 for the heat alarm and £30 for the smoke alarm. So basically you're looking at about £18 labour for doing the smoke alarm. However, you might get lucky. You might go there and there's already an ICO there. You just gotta swap over, literally quick 5-10 minute job, depending on obviously how experienced you are. So yeah, and then I'm gonna go for the big finale. Wait, obviously I do have so many more prices, like rewires and stuff, but I don't know how much of this stuff you guys want to know. So again, I'm just going to put it out there. If there are any questions, I can always make another video and cover it for you guys. So the big finale is going to be the tests. How much do housing associations and councils pay for a test? So let's have a look at the base price. So the code that we use for the occupied property certificate is the 895001 if you're using the NHF schedule of rates. The base price is £100. So basically there is no way that anybody working on the schedule of rates will pay you more than £100 to do the test. And that is standard price, whether it's a 1-bedroom studio flat, 5-bedroom house, that's a standard price. Unless you put in for a variation order and request it, but no one does that. They literally just say test, yep, come in, however many bedrooms there are, you're testing it for that price. So bear in mind now, we saw that Lambeth offer 30% discount of the base price. So whoever wins the Lambeth contract will be getting 30% deducted from that base price. So £100 base price means, so yes, £100 base price. However, Lambeth work from a SX3 system. Their base price is actually £66. Test electrics and provide report. So you test the domestic installation, and you test all the components, disconnect illegal wiring, provide report, NIC test certificate. You can't claim any extra codes on this. Basically £66, but obviously Lambeth are working at a 30% discount, meaning £47 for Mears or Wait. So whoever will get the contract, they're getting £47 for the test. So bear in mind, if there is any subcontractor underneath, they will be getting an even lower price. So you're literally looking at about £40 per cert, I guess. Crazy, right? But let me go back to the NHF schedule of rates. So yeah, we're looking at £100 for a certificate base price. Average council is 35% discount. So you're basically looking at £65 per certificate. £65 per certificate. And what are you expected to do in that certificate? You are expected to test an occupied property, meaning there is stuff everywhere. You don't know how much stuff. If there is way too much stuff, you can request for the tenants to have to move it. If not, you're going to have to work around a lot of stuff. So you would carry out the test of domestic installation to occupy a property. You're going to do the continuity tests, insulation resistance, polarity, earth fault loop impedance, and operation of residual current operated device. You're going to disconnect, repair, and renew as necessary after removal of any legal wiring and components. Basically, any C1s you've got to do on site, including in that price, to make safe, obviously, not to replace. So like missing blank C1, you've got to do it in that price. Yeah, and then you've got to provide an NIC, IC, or ECA test certificate and remove waste and clean up after yourself. All of that for £65. And obviously, if you're lucky, it will be a studio flat. If you're not very lucky, it will be a 4-bedroom house and you will receive that same price. And on that code, you can't really add anything extra. So you basically will just get that price. That's if you are at the top. So bear in mind, if you are one of the lower subcontractors, smaller subcontractors, contractors at the bottom of the hierarchy, you are looking at about, let's have a look here. Schedule of rates, test, occupier property certificate, day to day, you're looking at about £57. You're looking at about £57. And if you are right at the bottom, one of the guys on construction industry scheme, working, you know, on price, you're probably looking at about £50 per certificate, meaning that to get £200 a day, you're gonna have to do 4 certificates a day on like 2-3 bedroom properties. So yeah, crazy, right? Crazy, right? So if it is an unoccupied property, apparently you get more. It's a higher base price. Interesting. Oh, then yeah, here's a little few prices for pat tests and so forth. And the occupied property post repair certificate, I think that is like a minor works cert, but that is the whole dispute that I said we have at the moment, where we don't know if the minor works is included or if we just test the minor work stuff but don't provide them a certificate and then charge them extra for a certificate. Nobody knows. But yeah, that's the sort of main prices that I've got to tell you guys about. So like I said, Freedom of Information Act, you can Google this yourself. Some of the names I mentioned, like the NHF schedule of rates, SX3 schedule of rates, so you can just research those. Or if you want to look at the Lambeth one specifically, literally I just typed in Lambeth Freedom of Information Act schedule of rates, bam, clicked it. One of the top 3, 4, 5 results was the link. Downloaded a spreadsheet, all the prices are there, all the descriptions are there. Freedom of Information Act, you can get this all yourself, but like I said, you know, I've got a lot of experience in this, so I thought I'll put the research together for you. If there are any questions, let me know. I will do another little video if you want me to share any extra prices or any other information. And apart from that, there was that whole thing of me and my personal experience as social housing electrician and prices. Shall I do that as a little bonus video? Because this one was quite long. It was a lot longer than I thought. Yeah, I'm gonna do that as a little bonus video. So yeah, these are the real life prices that social housing electricians work at. So obviously the money seems very little, and weighing up all the benefits and the cons of it, it's not worth it, right? However, I love it, I enjoy it, and I have had months where I've made like 10 grand in a month just doing social housing stuff. That's not including any other extra investments I've got. So just social housing, 10 grand in a month. I'm going to share that in my little bonus video. So yeah, basically social housing, very small money, but there is potential to earn big money even if you're at the bottom. So yeah, that's going to be my bonus video. Yeah, I think that's it really. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, I guess. It's way too strong. Yeah, I was expecting a nice sip of tea. But what it is I chucked one tea bag in, and I didn't see, and I forgot, and I chucked another tea bag in, and when I was mixing, I was like, what, there's 2 tea bags in here? So it's kind of ill. That's a shame. Oh, never mind. Anyways,